Hi, I'm Daniel McCartney and I play softball. This information video is primarily aimed at you, the rookie, the noob, who has finally made the decision that you want to buy your first softball glove. Well, you come to the right place. We're going to cover three major aspects of you making that decision. The first section of this video is going to go over the various facts about what you need to look for in that glove, because it depends on a lot of different factors. Are you an infielder? Are you an outfielder? Lots of different things are going to come into play, and we're going to go into more detail about that. The second aspect of this video is going to be on the breaking in of that glove. Whenever you first get it, it sits like this out of the box and you need to crush it down so it sits like this all the time. We're going to go over the best ways to do that and the myths on what not to do. Very important. You're going to want to know about that. And lastly, we're going to cover the care and maintenance of your softball glove. We're going to keep it nice and floppy and nice and soft. You want that to be the way that your glove lasts you your lifetime. And you don't want it to crack, because if it cracks and starts to break and these laces get all brittle, it'll just fall apart on you. So you need to know how to keep that from happening. Glove should be for life, not just for Christmas. All right, first aspect. Let's get stuck straight into it. Okay, so you're going to buy a glove. You don't just go onto eBay and flick and go, ooh, that's pretty, I'll take that one. No, there are some things you need to know about. First one, you're playing softball. Buy a softball glove. You could buy a baseball glove if you want to, but baseball gloves come in a smaller range of sizes. Softball gloves come in a larger range of sizes, and there's a reason why. The baseball, it is 9 inches in circumference. All the way around, that's 9 inches. And a softball is 11 to 12 inches in circumference. There's a big difference. So you're going to want to get the right tool for the job. I'm going to recommend that you go for a softball glove. Second thing is, there is a difference between a right-handed glove and a glove for a right-handed player. I am a right-handed player. I throw my softball with my right hand. I catch with my left. So I am a right-handed player. If I were to grab a right-handed glove, it's not going to go on my left hand. It's going to go on my right hand. So when you're looking at that, make sure you take that into consideration in the description. Right-handed glove versus right-handed player. Just a little something to look out for. All right, the important key aspects. The size of your glove. This is a 13-inch glove. It's the middle of the range. They go from 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So 11 to 15. This dimension is taken from the top of the first finger right down to the heel. 13-inch gloves means this glove is 13 inches from here to here. Now, you'd be forgiven for thinking that the size of a glove is in relation to the size of your hands. If you have tiny little hands, you need a size 11 glove. If you've got monster big hands, you need the 15. That is not the case. Most softball gloves should have an adjustment on the back, like this one is Velcro, that helps you make that adjustment for the size of your hand. You got a small hand, you're going to close that over nice and tight on it. You got a monster hand, you're going to leave that a little bit more loose. It's just to give you a little bit of adjustment on the glove, and it should be there on every softball glove you see. It could be a buckle, could be laces that you got to tie, but make sure it has that, because that's kind of important. You need to adjust it for your particular hand. So what are the sizes all about? 11 to 15. What is that for? Well, it comes down to where you play on the field. If you are an experienced infielder, like for shortstop, you've been playing for a while, you're probably going to use an 11 or 12. And the reason being, a smaller glove, when the ball goes into it, you're able to get the ball out quick to be able to transition onto your next teammate whenever you need to throw that. A smaller glove is going to going to help you do that a lot quicker. A larger glove is going to be for those fly ball catches in the outfield. The bigger the glove, the easier it's going to be to catch that ball. So generally speaking, infielders are going to have a slightly smaller glove. Outfielders are going to have a slightly larger glove. Now, I go for a 13. I play different positions. I'll be infield, I'll be outfield, I'll be all over the place. So I went for the all-rounder. At some point, I may be a bit more specific and buy something for a particular position that I decide I'm going to be playing for the rest of my life. But until that point, get yourself a 13. It's an all-rounder. It's small enough to be able to do the transition quick enough, and it's big enough to help you catch those outfield fly balls with ease. That is my recommendation. I would say 13 for infield, 14 or 13 for outfield, but the key factor here is to try a few different gloves. Try before you buy. You'll have other teammates who'll have different sizes, different makes and everything. Get your hand into a few of them and see if you want a 14 or a 13. But generally speaking, you can't go wrong with a 13. All right, so what's up next? The web. Oh, the dark web. I call mine the dark web because you can't see through it. It's completely blots out the sun. Now, this is okay for infield position, because when you're going to catch your ball, you're going to have your glove in any sort of position as such, whichever way you catch. Obviously, there's a right way and a wrong way. I'll let your coach describe that to you. But generally speaking, I'm going to be looking over the top of my glove at the person throwing the ball to me, so I don't need to see through this area. However, when playing in the outfield, having a glove that has some holes in it, see these holes right here? Having some holes in it means basically whenever you're holding your glove up high to catch that fly ball, you might be able to catch some glimpses of that ball through those holes. So that's why there is a difference between an open type web and then the closed one that I have. There are about 8 different types of webs, and then they all have their subdivisions. There's plenty different options out there, but if you break them down into 2 categories, the open type web primarily for the outfielder, and the closed type web for the infielder. It's going to come down to personal preference. Try before you buy. And I said, if you don't know where you're going to be, I went with closed. I didn't really know I was going to be, but closed is good enough for me. I can catch those fly balls most of the time. We'll not go into that. All right, so we've covered the web, we've covered the sizes. Now let's cover comfort. It's actually a very important aspect of it. Inside this nice, comfy Easton glove is fur, or some kind of man-made fur, sheepskin maybe, I'm not sure, wool. There's something in there that when you put your hand in there, it's like, you're going to be wearing this glove for the best part of 2 hours playing a game, so you want that to be comfortable. This rickety old thing of mine is nothing but leather in there, and by the time I'm done playing with that for 2 hours, I've got rag nails. I need a manicure, so make sure you have something that's a bit comfortable in there. If you're in a shop, you can put your hand in and try before you buy, which is great, but if not, if you're buying online, just read the description and see if it says that it's covered in some way. Now, this particular Easton make, it's actually half fabric and half, well, maybe not half, but there a percentage of this is actually a fabric. I don't know if you can tell on the back there. That's not leather right there. That's some kind of fabric, nylon type stuff. But it is soft on the back of my hands, and I like that. So for me, this is just the perfect, good all-round glove. But when it comes to comfort, just make sure there's something there in the description that says there's something in there, not just nothing. Okay, so brands. What brands are you going to go for? Well, I went for the Easton. In the year this video was made, which is 2022, Easton is not in the top 10 of the best softball clubs for this year. This year, this video is being made, it's 2022. If you want to find out the top 10 for your year, just go to Google, type in top 10 softball gloves, and then put your year at the end, and you'll see which ones are doing the rounds at your particular time. Easton, not in this year, was in its heyday, but this is an old glove. It's been around for a while, hence why it's really floppy. I like it. But some brands you should be looking out for that are industry standard, that are probably going to be there every single year. Wilson is one. You may remember Wilson from Tom Hanks' film Castaway. Wilson! Well, they make gloves too, and they do a really good job of it. They're in the top 10 for this year. Rawlings is a huge manufacturer, a huge company, an industry even over in America. And they make everything baseball, softball. You can't go wrong with a Rawlings glove. In fact, if I'm not mistaken, there's a Rawlings one right here. This is one I'm going to be showing you in a wee second. But basically, they are industry standard. You can't go wrong with the Rawlings. Everybody has them. A couple of big makes to look out for. They're expensive though. Miken and Mizuno. Now, when you see those ones, they will probably be in the 1, 2, and 3 positions. They're there for a reason. They're really, really good. They're very expensive though. You're talking, this video was made in the UK, so we're talking sterling, Great British pounds. They are going to be top of the range. So they're like 150, 200 pounds to buy their gloves, because they're just, they're incredible what they are. This is a middle of the range. You're talking 80 to 90, and it's a good place to be. Budget's going to be 30 to 40, or if you want to go down to eBay special, 15, but don't. It's not good. All right, so try to get into your budget or medium if you can. Don't be going for the big ones just yet. Remember, you're rookie, you're just starting. You need to find that position that you're going to be playing and be comfortable with. So make sure you just get something that is going to be a bit of an all-rounder for you for the time being. You can make that bigger purchase further on down the line. With this first section, the last thing I'm going to say, with all those things, with sizes, with webs, with how it feels on your hand, with the comfort, try before you buy. If you can go into a store, that's brilliant, but there may not be a lot of stores in the area that actually have a lot of different ranges. This is more of an American thing. But your teammates will all be probably wearing different types of gloves, different sizes as well. Go and see what they're wearing, what they're playing with, and ask if you could give it a wee go for 5 or 10 minutes. I'm sure that won't be a problem, and you can get a feel for it. Your team, if you're playing in a softball league, your team will probably have a selection of gloves for you to try for the rookies, because when rookies come, they don't come with anything, so we have to supply that. So you may find that your team has some of those for you to try as well too. Try before you buy. All right, part two, breaking in your glove. Now, when you get a glove, it is like this, comes out of the box like this. It's shiny and slippery and smooth, and balls tend to flick right out of it. You really need to close down quick on it. Your reflexes have to be good. So how do you get this to end up sitting like this? Well, there are some tried and tested methods, but first let's talk about them myths, things you don't want to do. Do not put your glove in the microwave. Do not put your glove in the oven. You'll find these on the internet. People, oh yeah, stick it in the oven for 30 minutes, it'll be fine. Oh, it'll toast it. Don't be doing that. And don't be driving over it with your wheels of your car. In America, say, back up over it with your truck a few times. Doesn't do you any good at all. All it does is make these laces brittle. And when these goes brittle, they break. And when they break, this just falls apart. Because that's how it's all being held apart, held together by laces. So if the laces go brittle, this thing is pointless. Your ball, big fast ball, is going to come through and take the web straight out the back. So don't be doing it in the mitts. So what's the best way to break in your mitt? Your mitt. What's the best way to break in your glove? Play with it. That's right. Get out in that back garden and start playing catch with the old man, or your brother, or your friend, or your sister, or your dog. Just have fun with it and keep playing with it. Now, once you throw that ball and you're waiting for it, don't be just standing there. Just sit and do this. That's all you got to do. Don't do it too fast. You'll fatigue your hand. You'll not be able to do it for long. But all you need to do is open and close it while you're waiting for that ball, and then go ahead and make that catch. And then throw it back and do it again. Rinse, repeat. Sit on the TV, by the way. You're watching TV, just sit there with your hand off the side of the sofa, just doing this. Before you know it, an hour has passed. I gave it to a little boy. He was in my house with the family, and we put down a bunch of balls. And I says, here, go, Pac-Man, get them all. And he played with it for hours. It was great. He shaved a day or two off my breaking in time. So anything you can do that opens and closes it. I can tell you, my coach, he puts it underneath his mattress and sleeps on it. All right? So there are lots of different ways you can do to try and get that. But don't be doing anything extreme. Don't try and take any major shortcuts. However, there is one shortcut you can take, which is perfectly viable, and it's an industry standard. It's known worldwide. You'll see it on the internet whenever you go to do your research. I'm sure you're going to do some of that, and that's steam. Now, in America, in the big softball and baseball stores, they'll have these things look like a mini fridge, and you put your glove in it, and it will just steam the absolute bejeepers out of it, and then hit it out to you. And then what you'll find is the guy will take a mallet, a wooden mallet, has to be wood, and it has to have a smooth surface on the impact side. It can't have those teeth that you use to tenderize a steak, because you'll just destroy your glove. And what they do is they go along the seam, basically bang, 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 obviously on the countertop on a workshop surface, bang, 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 back in for some more steam, back out, bang, 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 and that helps you. It's going to shave some days off, and it will make this hinge right here, for lack of a better phrase, where it folds, the fold line, it will make it very soft and floppy, so it will help. What we can do to get that steam is going to be from a kettle. If you put something over the kettle that holds the bit down at the back so it's just constantly on, make sure there's plenty of water in it, and the steam will just keep coming out of it. You're going to want to hold it over that, but don't do it with your hand in it. You could burn that. Stick a spatula up there, or a piece of wood or something, a broom handle. This is something to hold it over there. So the steam runs along the inside of that fold line, and then flip it over and do the other side along that steam line. Take it off, get that mallet smooth, and just whack away at it on your kitchen counter, and then go back, do that, I don't know, 3 or 4 times. You're going to definitely make some progress. So that is one way you can take a little bit of a shortcut. Okay, the second thing you can do, again, involves steam. It's optional whether you want to do it or not, but I think it's kind of important. This web right here, it needs to be soft and floppy. You want the ball to go in there and feel like it's going into something. Can you see that ridge that it makes whenever it goes up in there? It really does form around the ball, and this helps catch it, because the more grip it has around the ball, the less likely that ball is going to be to continue and drop out the bottom. So to make this nice and floppy, again, involves steam. You're going to steam the web, both sides, and then you're going to take that mallet again and just pound away at it. Or you can take the ball and just start ramming it in there and go on the other side and just back and forth and back and forth. Do that half a dozen times. You're going to make this a little bit more floppy, or maybe do it a couple times a week during the first period of you trying to break it in. On average, it should take you 2 to 3 months to get from this to this, of just playing with it. The steam might shave a bit off that. And again, it not going to do any damage as long as you're not doing it all the time. As I said, once or twice a week would be enough to really just give you a little bit of a head start on it. Now, there are some products you can use to help, and we'll talk about the products in a minute, but what you're going to do, those products in the breaking in period, is put them along that fold line on the outside and along that fold line on the inside to make that hinge as floppy as possible. All right, so there you go. That's the best way to break in your glove. Play with it. Okay, so Final section of this video is care and maintenance, and it can't be understated that you have to take care of this thing. It's meant to last you a lifetime, and it should do. Leather lasts a long time, but you can make it nice and floppy and soft if you just take care of it. You don't want it to be like a rigid thing like this. You want it to be nice and floppy and soft. So first things first, when you get your new glove, it will come with instructions. Have a read of those instructions, because somewhere in there it's going to tell you what products you can and hopefully what products you shouldn't be using on your glove. I'm going to go through a few of them right now and what to do with them, but read those instructions first, just to make sure you're using the right one, because different leathers respond differently to different products. But the three that generally are known to be worldwide, known to be acceptable on any kind of a leather, is the first one, lanolin oil. Lanolin oil, you'll get in any hardware store, comes in a little bottle, and it's quite a good substance. It really keeps it nice and soft and subtle. Use it any of these products, by the way, use them very, very sparingly. You're not just going to dump them on like ketchup. You're putting a little bit on a cloth and you're just rubbing it in as best as you can, as hard as you can. The second thing you can use is a product that I have started using. It is by Rawlings, so you know that it's a trusted. It's called Glove Butter, also known as Glove Conditioner. It has lanolin oil in it, along with some conditioners that are good for leather, and leather that gets action. Unlike a saddle is going to be something that sits pretty stationary. This is not going to be sitting stationary. So these are the kind of products that are designed specifically for leather that gets a lot of use and abuse. The third product you can use is just plain old Vaseline. However, I will advise you against using Vaseline on a fresh, out of the box glove, simply because there's petroleum jelly type things that just aren't very good with fresh leather. Worn in leather, not a problem. Fresh, not so bad. So maybe glove butter or lanolin oil to start with, and once it's broken in, if you want to save yourself some money, then you can use the Vaseline. So how do you take care? Well, first of all, you're going to get yourself a little face cloth like this. You can see this one's been well used. You're basically going to want to get one finger wedged up in there, really as tight as you can. You're going to take your glove butter, without the glove on your hand, of course, and you're going to just take a little bit of it. I mean, it's really, it's just a trace. You won't even see it on there. And once you have it, you're basically just going to rub in as hard as you can. You might want to maybe use your thumb or two fingers, whatever it takes. It should only take you about a minute to do the whole inner surface, because that's the area you're going to want to do. Outside, maybe once a month, maybe once every 2 or 3 months. Doesn't need as much as the abuse that it gets on the inside. So inside is more important. You're going to go down all the fingers. You're going to do the palm. You're going to do the heel, the thumb, and then of course the all-important web, and really get in there as hard as you can. Pay a little bit extra attention to about an inch around the outer circumference of your glove, simply because this bit and this bit tend to dry up the most. The fingertips, they tend to dry out the quickest, because as you're even storing your glove in your backpack, this just is going to get rubbed all the time by stuff, and whenever it gets rubbed, it will rub off. Now, none of these products, as long as you use them sparingly, are going to leave any residue on your glove. Your ball rubbing in there, nothing's going to appear on the ball. Your hand, fingers, nothing's going to appear there. So you don't have to worry about using any kind of illegal substance or anything like that. These are designed to keep your gloves nice and soft and supple for the one major reason. The ball is round. When it goes in there, you want this to wrap around the ball. It's the best way to make it stop dead. Now, normally you can do that with your hand, but it doesn't hurt to have a glove that is just so floppy, it just wraps around. It's like a towel wrapping around the ball. If you are using a new glove, this one is fairly new, you're going to see that it pretty much looks like it's catching it like a book. You know, it's like pinching it. It's just like catching it with a book. It doesn't wrap around as much and as easy as a well-worn-in glove. So care and maintenance is very, very important. How often should you be doing it? It depends what you want from your glove. If you just want to keep it nice and supple and soft and just want to take care of it, then once a week, at the bare minimum, once a month, bare minimum, once a month. But once a week, the night before a big game would be the best time to do it. However, there is another aspect of that you might want to take into consideration. The inside of this new glove right here is very shiny. It's very smooth, and balls have a tendency that when they go in there, if you don't close down in time, just follow out and come down the bottom. And it happens, the old drop ball, it happens to the best of us. one thing you can do, especially as a rookie. You'll not need this when you're more advanced and you know what you're doing, and your clasp times are especially close and fast and tight, and you're going to catch that ball, no problem. But in those early months, those even early years of playing the game, anything that's going to help you is going to be an advantage. And putting product on your glove not only keeps it soft and makes you catch that ball better, but it makes the internal surface of this a little bit grippy. Whereas the new one feels nice and shiny and smooth, this one feels a little bit like rubber. That's the best way to describe it. So when the ball comes in there, wherever it lands, it kind of stops dead, or at least a lot deader than from a glove that isn't been taken care of, a new one or an unconditioned glove. So there you go, folks. That is all I have to say to you about buying your first glove. Make a good decision. Take my points into consideration. Go through the video if you need to again, take some notes, but definitely the web, the size, the brand, comfort, don't forget comfort, and just make sure it's the right one for you. But I always suggest try before you buy is always going to be the best policy. I hope you enjoyed this video. No need to like and subscribe because I have no idea if I'm going to be ever doing another one. Maybe bats. I'll do bats next year when I learn about bats. In the meantime, feel free to share this video with anybody else that you feel is in that same category as you. They're a rookie, they're a noob, they're starting out, and they're wanting to get their first glove. So help them if you can. But in the meantime, I've been Daniel McCartney. I play softball. Let's play ball!